Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to iRacing's Formula Renault 3.5 series, brought to you by Apex Racing's TV. We leave Japan and we head back to Europe for round 8 of the season, and we go to a circuit which the great Niki Lauda took his 25th and final Grand Prix victory. It is at Zandvoort, first opened in 1948, part of the wave of post-war motorsport enthusiasm that swept across Europe. We got myself, Jessica Ball, and Chan Weihan in the commentary box, as well as Marco doing the cameras behind the scenes. And Chan, I think this is a track where qualifying is crucial because you can barely overtake here.
In many ways, it feels like a Monaco, but with some runoff, so that certainly means that the track is very narrow, and I think it's in fact it's also quite different from the layout that will be used, that's planned to be used in Formula 1. Turn 14 isn't banked here where it will be in Formula 1, and we've also got some corners that have been changed otherwise. So having a look at the qualifying lap progress, we do have Ducarmo, who did well last couple of weeks. He's up provisionally on pole as well today.
Yes, we saw a battle, I think, between the top two last week, Eddie Sambrosky and also Fabio Jacomo as well. Gap separated by 9 tenths. Very, very intense between these two as well. So expect them to be challenging for the win today as well. And it's probably going to be the battle of the Titans, as it were, as well. We also got a few new drivers as well. We got the French driver of Robert in P4 at the moment. So nice to see him here. And we did mention that Robert Tilton in P3 would be back this week, and he is as well. And he could be another one that challenges for the win. And the gap separating the top three by 4/100ths of a second, and the times just keep changing everywhere. Paul Ilbrink, which we're riding on board right now, is currently sitting in pole position. He's had some bad luck recently, but maybe this could be his time to shine right now, and hopefully he could deliver what he promises to deliver for the past couple of weeks now, because he has the pace. He's just made some mistakes some weeks, which was unfortunate, really. But we'll see what he could do for this qualifying session. Hopefully he can have a good race too.
Yeah, in many ways it's his home track as well, so surely the pressure is probably on him to get a good result out of this as much as possible. Edward Sambrosky now takes a provisional pole with a lap time of 1:20.723, which is quite a fair bit faster than Ilbrink. Certainly not every driver has put down their lap times yet. We still have a couple more, and we'll kind of see how this goes over the next couple of moments. This is Tilton as he comes around the final corner. He's provisionally in third, and he will come across the start-finish line with a lap time that is not faster than his... Oh, it is faster than his previous best, so I think he still holds on to third as Paul Ilbrink makes his way up top.
We've got, I think, Paul Ilbrink improved by a couple of tenths there as well compared to Eddie Sambrosky, so that is pretty good to see as well. Herbino up there as well. Tom Wedgewood in 7th. It's just so intense as well, and I think a lot of drivers have been practicing more in qualifying in terms of the race, knowing that they've got to have the best qualifying position as well. So it has quite a lot of characteristics through this track. The circuit actually closed in 1985 to financial problems, and it was a shorter 1.6 mile version of the original track for using club race, and there was actually a club version of the track. We're actually running the Grand Prix layout, apart from obviously the band curve, which is not on this game, but it's a straight out in towards turn 14, as we discussed earlier as well. And there was a few corners named after two-time Indy 500 winner as well, the Tarzan Bot, and the other corner, which I can't pronounce to save my life. But anyway, 2 more minutes left to go of qualifying session, and a few people coming across the line, one of which is Tom Wedgewood, who was lower down last week, looking to improve this week. He currently sits in P6. We've got Pinsker as well, who is looking to improve. He set a personal best of a 1:21.1, just 5 tenths slower than pole position as well. Benjamin Baratow is back this week, which is great to see as well. A few people were off last week due to the fact that maybe some of them were on vacation or holidays. Hopefully they had a good time and they're back racing with us as well. And we'll see what happens, of course. Pinsker, we're not used to him in 6th place in qualifying, but this is his final lap. He's got to show us what he's got, really, because otherwise it's going to be hard for him to get a podium, because he did really well to fight back on the podium once again after a miserable last couple of races before Motegi. Motegi was definitely his redemption week, I have to say.
Yeah, certainly. So, Pinsker now with he's previously got a lap time of 1:21.14, and he's now making his way around as well. You can kind of see that there are clearly some key differences between this track as well as the one intended for Formula One. I think this corner being one of them as well. And yeah, this corner is flat. It's supposed to be banked. Or rather, it would be banked if this track was kind of scanned just last year or something, but that's not the case. So Pinsker comes around the start-finish line, and he will set a lap time of 1:21.05, which still means that he still holds on to P6.
He does improve though as well, almost in the 120s, which, to be honest, he'll probably be kicking himself that he didn't get into that margin, but to be honest, most of them improved, so it's all good. So it's Paul Ilbrink that takes pole position from Eddie Sambrosky in 2nd place. We've got Herbino in 3rd position. We got Robert Tilton in 4th. Fabio Jacomo, who was battling Eddie last week, currently sits in 5th. James Pinsker in 6th on the grid. And in the 4th row, we got Tom Wedgewood in 7th and Leon Robert in 8th. In the 5th row, in 9th, we got Benjamin Baratow, and in 10th, we got Pavel Vasilev. In 11th, we got Carlos Derecho and Dennis Verchheim. We got Lakino Costa in 13th, and we got Joshua Stewart in 14th, Dennis Cornu in 15th, Carsten Youth in 16th, Carl Young in 17th, Raphael in 18th, and Philip Sheaf in 19th position. Now, we're used to people come from lower down the grid to near the front before, but it's not going to be as easy this week. So don't forget, you can check out our sponsors to Apex Racing TV, one of which is Virtual Racing School, where you can improve your on-track performance with data packs, setups, track guides, data analysis software, and one-on-one coaching. So make sure you check it out as well. Also, don't forget you can subscribe to us on YouTube, Apex Racing TV, for tons more sim racing action. Hit that bell icon to be notified when we go live. You can also find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Apex Racing TV. And of course, do follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All those usernames are just Apex Racing TV. And any favourites, do you think, Chan, for the win?
I'm just gonna mention Paul Ilbrink as the most possible winner because he's starting from pole, and I think with overtaking being a bit difficult, he might just take it.
Indeed, let's see what he could do. Hopefully the pressure won't get to him this week as the 5 red lights are coming on, and it is lights out and away we go. And Paul Wilbrink has got a much better start than the rest of the field, but look at Christoph, was in third and now is in second, got a much better start than Eddie as they head towards turn 1, almost going 3 abreast as well. A lot of people trying to make moves early on, because if you don't make the moves early on, you're probably going to stay like that for the rest of the race. A lot of people being very brave heading towards turn 2 and 3 as well. A few people just going off a little bit. We got Carlos Derecho that's dropped down into 19th place. Not the best start that he would have wanted so far. Tom Wedge was moved up into 6th position too. Pinsker dropping down into 8th, but Eddie Sambrosky getting a good run as they head towards turn 7. But Ilbrink has got a massive gap up front, 2 tenths, which is going to get even increased, I would say, as the lap goes on as well. But good start from our home favourite at the moment, but Eddie Sambrosky really needs to put on the pressure on Urbino to get back up into 2nd place.
So Urbino obviously going to give Paul Ilbrink a run for his money as he tries to put as much pressure as possible. Field is still very compact at this point. Good that right at this point there are no breakaways still. I think Urbino trying to find a way past, which he is finding very hard. So coming around the final corner for the first time, someone has made a big off, and that is Robert Tilton, who started, I think, up in 4th, and he's now found his way up in the banked runoff. So let's have a look at the replay and see exactly what happened. This is Tilton making his way around the chicane and onto the stretch that's right before turn 13. So on the entry, I think he overcooked on entry, and that sent him sending out wide.
So one of our early favourites, Robert Talton, who's got quite a few wins this season, is now dropping down into last place. But luckily, he didn't have a worse start compared to Carlos Derecho, who's currently in the pit lane as well. So that is a shame, but there's still plenty of time to make amends for some mistakes here as well. So you're heading towards the next lap then, as Tom Wedge was dropped a little bit. I think he's gone off, I think. He's dropped massively, and I hope we can get the replay soon, but he was, I think, in 7th, and now he's down into 17th, so he's lost 10 positions. So I wonder if he made the same mistake as Carlos maybe earlier on as well, as, he's lost a bit of ground. So yes, let's have a look at the replay. So he's trying to go for a move, very brave move from Tom, trying to go around the right-hand side, and he made contact and he's in the wall, and not where you want to be, but you can't overtake really around here, and you've got to take some risks, and Tom trying to do that, but unfortunately that risk did not pay off, and Carl Young has just gone off as well. So many more spinners, I think, today, and that's allowed people to start quite low that are not making any mistakes to gain a bit of places. We got Leon, who has made 3 positions, and we got Luciano Costa has gained 4, and Philip Sheep, don't forget, started last, up 5 places up into 14th position, and Robert Talton being the biggest loser there, down 13 positions, but he just got past Raphael Bonifacio there. So there we go. But Paul Ilbrink, the gap's still around 2 tenths. So Christoph is definitely keeping up the pace to him right now as well, even though Paul Ilbrink is setting much quicker lap times than him right now. But they're all 3 of them are in the 122. So this could get very, very interesting.
You can see just how difficult it is to make an overtaking move work, because at every corner, the window is just very small for especially for Albino to want to make a move. So certainly all he can do now is to kind of stay as close to the rear end of Paul Ilbrink as possible throughout the lap. And I guess one of the tricks is to probably pressure the driver in front to make an error, and that might be just what might be up some drivers' sleeves at this point. So Ilbrink manages to create a slight bit of a gap with Albino, so the gap now stands at around 0.6 of a second. Slipstreaming, very important from right before the 14th corner, the last corner, up all the way until the first corner. So that's a huge use of a slipstream that Albino used, and as Paul Ilbrink continues with his drive, and that is Joshua Stewart, and I would imagine Carsten Huth. That was probably an overtaking move along the outside, which is a great move for position.
That was very brave indeed. Good job from these two drivers as well. Pure respect as well. And if you make that move work as well, that's really going to help you for the rest of the race. Now the gap, it was 2 tenths. Now it's about 4 or 5 tenths now. So Paul Ilbrink is finding some rhythm out there in front, and he wants to get that win. I don't believe he's won a race this season. And imagine what he would be like if he wins his home track. He'll probably talk about it for days and days on end. I would probably talk about it if I won Silverstone or Donington or Alton Park or any of the tracks in Britain, even though it's too far away from my home city in the UK. But there we go. Meanwhile, the British of James Pinsker is in 5th position, so he's climbing up just a little bit, and Tom Wedgewood is making a comeback from where he fell, and he's up into 15th place as well. So it'll be just 2 tenths quicker than Herbino that lap as well, so the gap is steadying as well. And don't forget that this is a track where the conditions are quite cool at the moment, but the tyres could be a little bit more interesting. Don't forget the drivers don't need to pit in these races, so if they do have to pit, it will be for damage, and if they do get damaged, then it will cost them a chunk of time, because the amount of time you lose in the pit lane is not as much compared to various tracks, but it's still going to drop you way down the grid, and you may get lapped due to the fact how short a lap is around these Formula Renault 3.5 cars. It'll be interesting to see when they use their DRS as well, because you can use your DRS at any time as well. In the normal Formula 1 cars, so I play the Formula 1 games, it's around about turn, let me just have a look, I think around about turn 10 to turn 11 is when the DRS, you can see the back straight coming up right now as well. And just look at that, Paul is putting some consistent lap times as well. And this race is going to be, I think, just possession, which will be a bit of a shame, but points do count as well. We got a train from P1 to P3, and then we got Fabio, James, Leon as well, Benjamin, and Pavel as well in that train, and lots of other people. So it will be interesting to see, as I do believe we have Jacomo and Pinsker having a nice little battle for 5th as well. And it looks like Pinsker is charging Fabio too as well. Fabio almost went a bit wide there as well. James could take advantage there, but he doesn't. So he stays in 5th, but it's great to see him closing up ever so slightly. You don't really want to have near the dirty air around this track, because it could cost you. And we're starting to see faster laps coming from all the drivers as well, as we are on lap 6 of this race. We're approaching the 10-minute mark.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of the drivers kind of try to use DRS from this sector from turn 3 up to turn 7. It is a bit curved at that sector, but I think drivers could probably try it there if they want to kind of make an overtaking move work through that section. This is Pinsker currently in 5th, and he's leading Leon Robert. And that does seem to be Dennis Cornu, who's made a bit of a mistake, and he's probably found himself pointing the wrong direction. So this is Cornu making his way around a certain right-hander. That would probably that's just him kind of overcooking the entry, and he's just pointed 90 degrees off, and that probably cost him a couple of positions. He's now currently sitting in 15th.
Easy to do. I've lost it a few times on other sims as well, so it's not just him that does that as well. Very, very difficult to master as well, and if you get it wrong, then it could drop you quite a fair bit as well. So Fabio Jacomo's gained a bit on Pinsker that lap as well, but Pinsker's getting a lovely toe from Fabio the Brazilian. So this might help him here as well, as he's got some interesting gradients as well. Quite a bit different to obviously the Formula 1 version of the track, but this section is definitely very similar, as you can technically go for a move into turn 7, but it is quite hard to do. Now heading towards 8 and 9, and then very, very soon towards turn 10, as Benjamin is also in that train as well, and Leon. So the train's going to keep on growing as the lack of overtakes happen too. That's going to be, I think, last for quite a bit of time. So we'll just look at the lap times from this midfield train, because I think that's going to be the most exciting. So Fabio 1:22.61, James Pinsker 1:22.68 was his last lap. So it's separating by a few hundredths of a second, which I think is insane. And final lap, James Pinsker just got a little bit quicker. And you see he's going side by side now. He almost went for the move. He was going to go for the send, but he didn't want to take any risk at the moment. You can see that he's quicker. Someone's gone off. It's the home favourite, Paul Ilbring. He's made a mistake there, heading towards turn 3 and 4, and that's, I think, damage there to his front wing. I think all of his front wing is completely gone. Let's look at the replay there, and heading towards there, as you can see, I think it was Ed Christoph that was right behind him as well, trying to go for the move. A little bit of a touch there. It could have been avoided, but what a shame. Just how much bad luck Paul has been getting this season. He's going to be heartbroken. I'm sure all the people in the chat will be as well. Hopefully he can carry on in this race though, but that opens the door for Christoph and Eddie to challenge for the race victory.
Oh, that must be such a heart-wrenching move, and unfortunately Ilbring lost his lead, and he's going to have to work hard all the way from P12. But that does kind of see the race lead to Ilbring now, who is going to give us a good battle for the lead this time between himself and Sambrosky. So this is probably going to be good to watch for the next few moments. Unfortunately for Ilbring, but we now have a new contender up front, and we will see how this battle will shape up. Ilbring on the run actually, or rather is under a bit of pressure from that would be Tom Wedgewood, who's made the overtaking move. I think that does lead to Ilbring losing yet another position. That was a clean move along the outside, along the back stretch. Yeah, I think with the damage to the front wing, we would see that Paul Ilbring has lost a fair bit of pace. But that's just a bit unfortunate, especially given a track like that at Zandvoort. And we're now with Pinsker, and let's see if he's able to make anything work on Fabio Jacomo. So this is across the final 2 corners, or the final... Is that the final corner? No, it doesn't look like so.
That is turn 10.
Alright. Yeah, so making that rather Jacomo defending his position well, so he will continue to hold on to 3rd position, and we'll see how this shapes up.
Oh, looked like James was going around the inside there of Fabio, but he couldn't quite do it as well. He's just never giving up with our fight. I like his attitude to racing at the moment as well. Even though you can't overtake at Zandvoort, these guys are definitely wanting to prove us wrong here as we head in almost halfway into this motor race as well. Both of the drivers in the lead are ones who have won races before, and they definitely want to win another one, as Fabio under pressure from Pinsker again as well. Let's hope when these two fight that they don't make the same mistake as they did earlier with Paul Ilbring, of course, and keep it steady. Maybe they'll learn to be a bit more cautious. Oh my goodness, it's going to be 3 abreast. Sometimes 3 abreast does not work well in Zandvoort. I tried that once and it was me spinning into a wall. So luckily one person did back off there, but my oh my, that almost gave me a heart attack. Right now, 3 abreast into turn 1 never goes well. So phew. Anyway, we're running on board with Fabio Jacomo, who is quite familiar with the podium positions right now as well. Got a podium last week. He's looking to add to his podiums this week. But it looks like that Eddie is a lot faster than Fabio at the moment. So that is allowing Fabio to, I think, just stay in 3rd position. But I want to actually see what his times are compared to Pinsker as well, because Pinsker's the one that's chasing him. Pinsker's lost a bit of time to Fabio actually that lap. So maybe if Fabio's got maybe a bit more confidence, we shall see. But we're seeing Eddie and Christoph battling almost wheel to wheel, but Eddie just increasing the gap a little bit because he didn't want to close in too much, because that's where mistakes happen and spins happen due to a lack of downforce. So you can see where the laps Christoph is quicker. You can see the laps where Eddie is quicker as well on the right hand side. And yeah, you can see. I think there was one of the laps where there was a significant difference actually as well, but that probably might have been maybe near the spins, or it might have just been one of the drivers was quicker. We shall find out as well. So almost halfway, still plenty of action to look forward to as well. And James Pinsker just found a couple more attempts on Fabio. This could be his chance, but it's going to be a lot of risk taken for the British driver, but we'll see if he can do it. With Leon as well, not that far behind. B-shot. Oh, I was just about to talking about Leon, and he crashed heading towards turn 9 and 10. I shouldn't really be talking about that, but there we go. Let's look at the replay actually. So he's heading towards the understeery part of the track, past turn 8 into towards 9 and then towards turn 10. And is it a spin? Yeah, spin all by himself there. I think that's due to the understeer. What a shame there. And we will be probably seeing more replays coming up for you soon, as well as Paul Wilbing almost goes off again. And he does go off into the gravel trap. Does he avoid the... Oh, no, he doesn't avoid the wall. That is not good. If it was real life, that would have been a nasty crash, I have to say. But whilst we were watching that fight, here's the fight, I believe, for 11th position between Tom Wedgewood and Hoof. And Tom Wedgewood just gets past him. And the gap's increasing a little bit up front, so Christoph is definitely edging out his rivals at the moment.
Yep, so very much a case of two battles up front. So this is a battle for a race lead between first and second, and another battle for third between third and fourth. So both of them are separated by possibly 4 seconds. So I think if Ducamo and Pinsker do want to kind of close up this gap, they will probably have to think of working together to push through to the front, because sometimes the more you try to overtake, the more time you lose as a pair, and that does kind of sometimes affect the race pace a little bit. So Ducamo continues leading Pinsker as they make their way through the... Oh, you can see it's a good use of the exit curbs there, the final corner, and Mick now sitting in the slipstream. Let's see if he's going to be able to pull off an overtaking move. Pinsker along the inside, along the main stretch, and he cleans off a move for third position, and he leads Ducamo into turn 1 and the next lap.
That was perfect from him. If he had to make the move done, ideally turn 1 would be the best opportunity, and James Pinsker took that advantage and is in the podium once again, like he was last week. He finished third last week, and he's probably hopefully going to finish third this week as well. And his lap times, I think, are consistently faster compared to Fabio. He's increasing the gap just a little bit more now, because he knows that if he's got some clear air in front of him, he could hold on to that podium, or maybe challenge for second. It's not impossible, but it's probably going to be very, very hard for him to do right now as well. So we're riding on board with Christoph at the moment, as he's trying to get past some laps traffic already, as I believe that is Carlos who he's going to lap. So hopefully he moves out of the way, which he does. Both Christoph and Herbino move out the way for him. Now, so we got another driver in the pits. That is Bonifacio, who I think has probably got damage again. And obviously Paul Ilbrig has pitted due to his damage he got earlier on as well, like 2 bits of damage too as well. So I wonder if that is the end of his race. We've got Dennis Cornu, who is still in this race in 15th position. And we also got Benjamin as well, doing very well for the French right now. Currently sitting in 5th, 3 seconds shy of 4th. But let's see what these drivers fare with for the last 20 minutes or so. Probably less than that, but we are halfway on lap 14 out of 24. Still, so many things can happen. Christoph still leads. Eddie second. James third, Fabio fourth, Benjamin in fifth, and Pavel in sixth position.
You know, with rain on the way to iRacing, I like to think how, you know, that would kind of affect racing at Zandvoort, because certainly these cars seem to be very fast on this track, and I think this track does feel a little bit like Hungary, you know, being difficult to overtake, and the corners are very tight and sometimes fast as well. Yeah, just one of those random thoughts. I think this track would go very nice with the race. So James Pinsker continues in third. He's built a sizable gap ahead of Ducarmo, and he will probably let's have a look at the replay and see how this overtaking move came to be. So Pinsker went along the inside for the overtaking move ahead of Ducarmo. So I think this is him regaining the position, and he's done. Oh, Hoot has gone out wide, and he seems to have, he's currently in 13th, so I think that was a mistake along the exit of the corner, and he's kind of making his way back again. So we're now back to live pictures, and that is Corno, currently in 15th. So I think, yes, Marco jumps around with the camera. Carsten. Yeah, so this is Carsten. He's kind of found himself in quite a, oh yeah, that was him going past the apex, and I think snapping his car as a result of I think a loss of traction over the
I think we're
apex.
seeing Fabio spin as well, because he also had a bit of issues to see how he pitted, because I saw he went into the pits. Oh! How would someone survive that in real life? I do not know. But that would have definitely required a tow. If that did not require a tow, I don't know what happened. He's going to be in the pits for a very long time, I have to say. But unfortunate there for him. He's down in 18th place. And we're on lap 16 now. Eddie Sambrosky 121.5, setting a personal best. Christoph 121.6. So Christoph attempts slower, so the gap is catching a little bit. Eddie can sense it. He thinks that the win is inside, but he's got to make the most risky move that he's ever made probably in his life this season, which hopefully he will not get any damage from it as well. Luckily, the gap behind is a bit too much, so there is some breathing space as well for these two to keep fighting for the rest of this as well. And both of these two are doing an excellent job. I'm going to actually point out some of the other drivers that are doing well. I've got to say Dennis Furchheim, who we're currently riding on board right now. Excellent job, up 4 positions, and he's battling Luciano Costa, who's up 6. So those were the two that gained the most in this race so far. We've got Pavel that's also gained 4. Benjamin Barato's also gained 4 as well. So they were able to forget the mistakes from everybody else and just avoid the carnage else on foul, and someone has gone up there. It's Carlos again. Carlos has had some bad luck this race. Let's look at the replay. So, I believe that was before turn 7. I think I'm losing track of the corners right now, but yeah, I think he's just losing a bit of time right now, and yeah, I think he may have to pit, but he's dropped down 6 positions in this race, which is not ideal, and he's already a lap down. He's probably going to be 2 laps down in this race as well due to the mistakes he's been making. More personal best set from Tom Wedgewood, Joshua Stewart, Leon Robert, and also Eddie Sambrosky currently sitting in 2nd position, who hasn't moved from his starting position right now, which is always good to see. And Fabio, I think the podium's out of reach right now due to the fact that James, I think, is a lot quicker in this trap, but maybe we can see Benjamin Barato closing up. Who knows? But the battle of the lead is still going strong. I'm surprised, actually, Chan, that the lead is not as dominant because you can't overtake. Maybe it may due to the fact that, obviously, Christoph and Edward are so similar on pace. Christoph 121.6 and Eddie 121.4 last lap.
Yeah, I just wonder, hey, oh, that's a nice helmet livery. It's even got the nice oogly eyes. It reminds me of the crash test dummy, but with a face with the expression. Wonder
It
what
reminds
happened.
me of the Stig. It reminds me of the Stig. with the white helmet and all that, but that's I think pretty cool. But yeah, we never get to see the helmet choices of the drivers because usually some of them are look ridiculous, but most of them look very, very awesome. So it's crazy. But obviously, it's not about the helmets; it's about the racing.
Yeah, so of course both drivers being I guess in terms of pace they are ahead of everyone else. So this has resulted in them having a comfortable, at least both drivers have a comfortable lead ahead. So this is Wedgewood who's lost a position to I think just no.
Oh, that was Josh Stewart who's gained a lot of place this race. He was going and having a fight with Tom Wedgewood and he lost it. Oh no, again, I've made some moves around here, sometimes with a fluke, and oh, that was, I think he was trying to go for the move and he just lost control of the car, and that's what lost him quite a few places. And yeah, that is a shame. I think most people have made mistakes. I mean, the only people that haven't, I think I'll say the top 8 right now. It's from Christoph to Dennis, so Dennis Furchheim that is. And Eddie Sambrosky setting the fastest lap of the race, 1:21.445. This is insane for him as well. This is where the race is where the championship is crucial. It's not that long until the end of the championship season. Our last round, don't forget, is September 4th. So not that long to go. And if people make mistakes now, it will be hard to come back in later rounds. But mate, luckily after this week, we go to tracks which are probably easier to overtake, maybe, potentially. But, you know, there's some tracks which are hard for the fuel and the tyres as well. So it's hard to find a balance sometimes. But even though Sambrosky set the fastest lap, 2.1 of a second. So if Eddie didn't set the fastest lap, it would have been Christoph. Wow, and my oh my, these two are definitely the class of the field today, I would say.
Yeah, they've been dominating whole race long, and yeah, I mean, apart from the unfortunate incident by Paul Ilbring, I think it's mostly been them ahead. It's mostly been them leading the race, so they continue to do so, and they've kind of been virtually untouched by anyone else, for that matter. So, last time by Sambrosky was faster than Albino by 0.05 of a second. So I think you know, that does kind of show that there is a little bit of a pace difference to the advantage of Sambrosky. So he might be able to think of something over the next couple of moments. Both drivers have, I guess, increased the gap to everyone by 6 seconds, which is certainly very good for them. And to make its way across these corners. Look, the thing with Zandvoort is it's a bit hard to distinguish the corners from one another unless you're very familiar with the racetrack.
To be honest, I agree with you there as well, and it's hard to tell what actually is a corner as well if you've never raced it. And I had that experience when Zandvoort was introduced into the F1 game. Oh, that was almost a slide there as well. Could this be a chance for Eddie to fight back? We don't know. Sometimes it does take a small mistake for the race lead to completely change. This could be a move that we saw James Pinsker do earlier. We got Eddie to the left, Christoph to the right. Christoph's got to defend for his life, but Eddie's having the better line. They're still going side by side here. My oh my, these drives are pretty. You can overtake at Zandvoort when you put your mind to it. No! Eddie's gone off. Eddie's gone off, and yeah, same mistake, same place as Paul, I think, lost it as well, Sean.
Yeah, I think so. They probably lost at the same place, and you know, unfortunately, due to how narrow Zandvoort is, you can go off wide quite easily. So have a look at a replay. I think Edward was trying to make the line along the inside work, and that was just a contact between the wheel. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely like Paul. We just had confirmation there as well, but looks like Paul is out of this race because he hasn't raced at all. He's left. Everyone else is keeping going, of course, and for James Pinsker, he probably likes that Eddie has gone off, because you know what? So, someone has spun. We'll talk about that in a minute. That is Young, who is now towing to the pit lane. So is the damage that bad? Let's have a look. Past turn 8 and into turn 9. And then towards turn 10. Did he have a slider? Lost it on his own? Yes, he did. That was unfortunate. But let's just draw the point to James once again. James probably was loving the fact that Eddie has gone off a bit, because that means he's now in second position. He's not going to get first, but I'm sure P2 is a lot comfortable for him. And with Eddie's spin, that means Fabio could potentially get the podium now. And that's probably not what he was expecting coming into this stage as well. And Tom Wedgewood, I have to say, brilliant comeback from where he obviously rejoined earlier on. So you have to say, one of the drivers of the day so far, I would say, even though he thinks the race has not gone well. But he's fighting with the likes of Robert Tilton and Liam Robert as well. And look at this, Tom Wedgewood probably will line it up. I don't think he's going to go for the move, because he doesn't want to make a mistake. He's going to try for the move, but looks like Leon just closed the door there.
Yeah, certainly in a very tight position that Leon Robert is in, or rather he's coming under a lot of pressure from the two American drivers behind. So I think Tom Wedgewood is the one being sandwiched here, as he has to try to break free of this by trying to make an overtaking move work on Robert. But at the same time, Robert Tilton is kind of trying to put pressure on both drivers, so I think it's going to be hard to see who's going to emerge out of this, if there will be any overtaking moves that will take place. So we're back with the race leaders, or rather somewhere out front. Sambrosky, as you know, is unfortunately dropped down, but he's now trying to battle for the 3rd place, and he's trying very hard to do so. Overtaking move that worked along the outside alongside Fabio Jacomo, and he retakes his yeah, exactly. Oh no!
Tom! That's Tom. Same crash again that he did earlier. And I was talking about we're talking about comebacks. I think I shouldn't have said that, because he spun. I've jinxed so many people today, and people are gonna hate me. And since we only have about a lap to go at this race, his race is over. But his car is massively damaged. It looks like his old cockpit is gone all of a sudden as well. That's a bit of a shame, isn't it? But, you know, on the penultimate lap, Fabio now a few seconds actually behind Eddie. So I think his challenge for the podium may be over. The white flag has been shown. So that means the leader is on the final lap. 1:22.5 was the leader's last lap, compared to Pinska's 1:21.9. And I have to say, James Pinsker, I think he's probably gained the most as well, because James has started 6th and he's gained 4 places. Luciano has gained 6 as well, and Dennis has gained 4. So we got a move for, I think it's Liam Robert and Robert Tilton. So battle of the Roberts, one with the first name and one with the last name. And they can't back out now as someone almost goes wide. Around the outside once again. Honestly, that was just amazing. And I'm sure Robert Tilton is not going to give up without a fight. Let's see, they go up the hill then. Robert Tilton just keeps to his line, but Leon just looking a little bit more easy on the traction, a lot more comfortable. And very well controlled for the both of them. But let's go on board with our leader, Christoph. He's never put a foot wrong today. He's kept the race lead after many drivers faltered. Final corner he goes. Christoph wins the race, wins in Zandvoort, and is going to have a huge advantage going into COTA next week, Circuit of the Americas. We've got James that takes 2nd place, and then it'll be Eddie Sambrosky who comes across the line and will complete the podium. Fabio in 4th, what a good drive from him. Benjamin as well, back in rear territory in 5th. But who's going to get 9th place? We'll have to wait and see. Is it Leon or is it Robert? By 1/10 of a second, it is Leon. And we got Costa in 7th, Dennis in 8th, Leon in 9th, Robert Tilton in 10th, and Joshua Stewart in 11th position. Philip Sheath gained 6 places as well, so he's had a good race, gaining the positions that he did. Don't forget there was a few people that had a bit of crashes, but he did have some crashes this week. We didn't talk about him, and he didn't have any crashes. Maybe we should set that as standard for next week, but I believe most people have finished already. So we will go through the results very, very shortly, as we've had a few retirements from the race, but it is Christoph Urbinat that leads and wins the race. James Pinsker in 2nd, Eddie Sambrosky in 3rd, Fabio in 4th, Benjamin Barato in 5th, Pavel Vasilev in 6th, Luciano Costa in 7th, Dennis Fershheim in 8th, Leon in 9th, Robert Tilton in 10th, Joshua Stewart in 11th, Carsten Youth in 12th, Philip Sheep in 13th, Dennis Cornu in 14th, and we got Carlos Derecho in 15th, Tom Wedgewood 16th, Rafael Bonifacio in 17th, and then we got Carl Young and Paul Ilbrink did not make the checker flag. We might as well get some interviews in for our top 3. I think all of them have been in the commentary booth as well for interviews before. So we got 2nd place. Let's see if we can get 1st place first. But what a race we had. Quite a lot of mistakes, I think, as well tonight.
Yeah, but credit to all the drivers really, because you know, looking at this track, it does seem to be very easy for you to make a mistake. You know, how the way it's so narrow and you carry so much speed into the different sectors, it's very easy to kind of get just one wheel out, and that kind of can end your race. Yeah, we do have James Pinsker in the interview room, Jessica.
Who finished P2. We may as well get him in whilst we wait for P3 and P1 to turn up as well. And one of the biggest gainers today, actually, is James Pinsker. Gained 4 positions from his starting place, finished in P2. How are you feeling after that one?
I feel satisfied. I guess that's probably the word. Satisfied.
Brilliant, because you probably saw what happened in front of you as well, but we'll go to that in a minute. Talk us through that start as well, because that was where I think you gained quite a bit at the opening of the race. Was it easy to make your way through the field? Because I think you started in P6, I think?
Yeah, I started P6, but well, to be honest, on lap 1 I got muscled out, to be honest, because I was leaving space on the inside of turn 4, so I let a couple of places go there. So I was running 8th, actually early on in the race. So to come back to 2nd is obviously feeling quite nice. But yeah, I dropped down to 8th there. I was already very frustrated with qualifying. You know, like the lap didn't feel too bad, and to be 6th, like. I'm always a race pace driver, but still I expected a bit better than that. And then to be running 8th was very frustrating. But I got a place when Tom had a collision. I got a place on I can't remember what he's called, sorry. Leon Robert, I think. I overtook him on the straight.
Yeah.
And I sat behind Fabio for quite a while. Oh, Tilton spun off as well, that was a freebie. I sat behind Fabio for a while, and just waiting to make my move, like waiting until the tyres felt right, waiting until the car felt balanced, and that I was ready to attack the pace. And when I got through, from that point on, I think I had pretty good race pace, but I was still maybe lacking a couple of tenths to, the top guys. But fortunately, a lot of those top guys ended up crashing out, so I ended up in P2, which, considering this was not a track where I was very optimistic, yeah, I'm very happy with that.
Usually when you set low expectations, you do quite well, it seems to me as well. So towards the final few stages of the race, you got the move done on Fabio, which I have to say was absolutely brilliant. And then you saw Eddie, who's dropped a few places as well, and saw that P2 was in your grabs as well. What was going through your mind in the final few laps? Because there was a lot of people making mistakes. Did you want to make sure that you did not make the same mistakes as well?
Yeah, well, that was something I was thinking about, is the idea of a champion's drive, or when you don't have the pace necessarily on a bad day, but you keep the nose clean, and you get the best result possible. And I think that's definitely what happened. Seeing obviously Paul get crashed out, Tilton spun. I'm not sure what happened with him, but both of those got unlucky, and then Ed obviously as well. And Tom crashed in front of me as well. I felt like I could have beaten him anyway, but it was still a crash there to avoid. Seen other people like run through the grass as well when I've been following them. So yeah, this track is quite harsh. You know, the grass is everywhere, the cambers, the curbs, the gravel. You gotta be on your toes to survive here. And absolutely, I can be happy that I just came out the other side and can finish second. And I'm sure that's quite a lot of points for the championship. But again, I'm always a perfectionist. I want to be happy with the pace, because I know that's the important bit. The important bit is to be fast, and today I know up until the last few laps at least, I just didn't quite have it. So something to work on. But I know, like, it was similar with Motegi. Like, these kind of niche tracks I didn't really drive very much. Always been a bit of a Achilles heel for me. So hopefully going into the last 3 races of the season, I know Kota's next, which I haven't driven much, but then the last 3 races, Spa, Interlagos and Barcelona, I know those very well, so hopefully I can get back to fighting for race wins on pace. But whilst I'm having some tough times, it's happy to get the best result possible.
That is brilliant, and sometimes it happens to me as well. You get the best race result, but you're not happy with your race overall. That's a race of a heart, I have to say. So, like we said, Kota next week, and obviously Interlagos and Barcelona as well, the historic version. Out of all those tracks, which would you say would be your best shot or a win? Which one is your best chance to say, right, I do have the race pace to challenge the top guys?
Well, I know Tim Dalal calls me the Kimi Raikkonen of this series because I always do well at Spa. That's, I think I won, 4 races ever in this series? 2 of them were at Spa. And I came very close last season to winning as well, to get the hat trick, but I just missed out at the end. But Spa's always been a very good track for me. But then I know everyone obviously will practice and put a lot of effort into that, so it'll still be tricky, very tricky to fight at the top. But I know that's a track that I really enjoy in this car, and that's the one which I'd love to get my 3rd win at Spa in this series. And then for the rest, Barcelona's a weird one because it's very reliant on having the tyres and the balance of the car like really hooked up. If the temperatures are going one way or another for whatever reason, then it can be really difficult. But then when you hit the sweet spot, I know I got like one of my first ever podiums here when in this series, like a long time ago, just because I hit something perfect in the tires and I just had a load of grip. So that can be a fun one. And then Interlagos is a track that I always enjoy, but haven't always been that quick there. But we'll see. I'll give it a shot.
That is excellent. And before we interview our next podium sitter, any shout-outs you want to give to the stream right now?
Shout out Chris Urbano for winning the race, and commiserations to Ed and Paul at least, who got spun, I think, because of pretty much netcode contacts or pretty unfortunate moments at least. I haven't rewatched the instance yet, but commiserations for them because those guys were very quick and they deserved a chance to be fighting for the win until the very end. But yeah, it's luck is swings and roundabouts. So, and yeah, thanks to Apex Racing TV as well. And I should see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and congratulations on your 2nd place.
Cheers.
So that was James Pinsker that finished 2nd place on the podium. And now we're going to move to Eddie Sambrosky, who finished 3rd, and I'm going to pass you over to Chan.
Yeah, so Eddie, I think for most of the race we've seen you fighting really hard with the eventual race win. In this instance, it was Christoph Erbino, who you had a great battle with, and up to a certain point where unfortunately due to a contact you had to lose a couple of positions, but you went on a very great comeback drive and battled with Fabio Jacomo as well. So could you tell us more about the race from your perspective?
Well, I qualified really well, which was great. That's what is very important here. Christoph snuck a pass on me, which thoroughly irritated me because as you guys saw, and the viewers saw, it's very, very difficult to make a pass. And at my race, I was perfectly happy with. I was on the limit, but I wasn't going over. I wasn't making mistakes like you saw last week. So I was very happy with that. And when Christoph made the mistake, I thought this was it. Here's my chance. And unfortunately, due to the limitations of racing, on the internet, we had an incident. And at the time, I wasn't sure what happened. I reviewed it, and it's just pure bad luck for myself and Paul. Carbon copy of the incident. That one's not on Christopher, so you got to hand it to him. He drove a great race. I felt like I had marginal pace over him, maybe a tenth on occasional lap here or there, but it would have been nice if it didn't end up with us in the wall.
Yeah, I couldn't help but notice that specific corner was where, not just yourself and Paul, but even a few other drivers had unfortunate incidents. Sometimes it could just be going wide, but sometimes, net code wheel contacts, and also given the fact that the walls are so close. It's not a street circuit, but the walls are still very close, and I think it's kind of resulted in incidents that happen really easily. I also noticed that this track is really narrow as well. So, what do you think about the racing experience here at Zandvoort?
I personally love the track. I know it's one of those places that a lot of people seem to not be overly fond of for their specific reasons. I think maybe they need to open that corner up a little bit. Maybe bring the curbing almost all the way to the inside guardrail, and maybe give a little pavement on the runoff area. Because if you don't make the pass into turn one, which is very difficult. You saw that having the preferred line, even if you have to turn in earlier from defending, it's still faster. But it's the only place on the track where you can really get alongside. So, usually if you can make it through that corner into the next hairpin, you have a pass made, but because of the limitations, it really kind of puts a damper on the racing. I don't want to say it's follow leader because it's not, but you have to be better than millimeter perfect through there. So, it's really a catch-22 because I love driving here. I love racing. I just wish the unfortunate things wouldn't happen,
Yeah, exactly. And I think maybe the changes made to the track for Formula One in real life might have probably eased some of those difficulties. Certainly hope maybe sometime down the line we do get to probably have that update. Before we do let you go though, I think we're going to Circuit of the Americas next week. So what are your thoughts on going to the racetrack?
Oh, it is a monster. Every corner is a challenge, and I love it. A couple seasons ago, last time we went there, I had an epic battle with Paul. He ran me down. I made a poor decision about defending into a corner and got my car loose and had a half spin, and that was it. He drove away on the final lap. So if what's been trending over the last couple of weeks continues, it should be a really great 4 or 5 car battle, because you can actually race there. I don't mean that in a negative way, but half the track you can be side by side just about. Except for maybe 2 or 3 turns you really shouldn't, because if someone has a mistake, you'll take each other out. But so it should be really fun, to be honest with you. It should be great to watch too.
Oh, that's great to hear. Personally, I've had my own run-ins with Kota, and I prefer to watch people race instead of drive them. It's one of those things. Anyway, thank you so much for your time here in the interview booth. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Oh, absolutely. I'd like to thank the drivers that's donated so far to our fundraising effort. It's always greatly appreciated. It's really fun to do this. I hope nobody takes it for granted. I hope people do realize that, it does anything you can donate helps. We appreciate it. There's no minimum, no maximum. I'd like to thank the team, the drivers, everyone for showing up, people for sending through the liveries, everyone for complying with all the updated regulations. Things are proceeding as normal, and I'd like to thank Apex and iRacing for providing us the service here. It's good fun. I'm going to write a little letter to iRacing and see if we can maybe adjust some things in this corner, and maybe it can make it better for everyone on the service,
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I think it would be nice if eventually iRacing gets their hands on the Formula One variant. But yeah, certainly that we hope that'll be possible. And we'll in fact have a banked aerodynamic corner, the final corner. I think. Yeah.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that. It's so much fun to drive on the F1 game, but I can't imagine how difficult it will be on iRacing. But we will see.
Yeah, it's like a NASCAR, but you make a right turn instead. Anyway, thank you so much, Andy. Hope you have a great weekend. And yeah, best of luck for the next week.
Thank you, guys. And one thing to note, if we get a repeat of Formula One when we went to Indy, we are on Michelin tires, so I don't know. Hopefully that wall's soft.
Well,
Oh god.
yeah, as long as they don't diamond cut the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, Jessica, I think it's been a really interesting race tonight. Yeah, I think the racing action has been really intense given the way this racetrack is. So, yeah, I think it's been quite a great night so far.
Yep, it has been as well, and I think we've mainly seen the people potentially going off around, I would say, turn 2 and 3, and potentially towards turn 7 as well. But apart from that, we've seen some great moves being down on the outside into turn 3 as well, which amazes me. And obviously, turn 1 was a great overtaking opportunity as well. So it makes me excited for the weeks ahead, and congratulations to our podium sitters. Unfortunately, we could not get our race winner into the commentary box, so we are going to wrap up for this evening. So he did mention one of our sponsors, Virtual Racing School, earlier on. We'll have a quick shout out to our other sponsors as well, SDK Gaming, where you can broadcast your league and series there. It syncs your commentary team's cameras, focus drive, and overlays with your broadcaster as well. And you can have a 14-day free trial if you want to trial it out for your own races too, or your broadcast. And if you want to try it out for real, more than 14 days, then you can have a monthly subscription as well. It's very, very good. Highly recommend it. And it's also Apex Racing Academy, which also has data pack setups, track guides integrated with our other sponsor, Virtual Racing School, and some coaching sessions as well. So from all of us today, we will see you next week, where we head to America for the Circuit of the Americas, one of my favorite tracks in iRacing. It's very, very good, but there's quite a few overtaking opportunities, but I wonder what the Formula Renault 3.5 cars are going to deal with it. So for myself, Jessica Ball and Chunwei Han in the commentary box, and our lovely Marco working behind the scenes on the cameras, we'll see you next week in COTA. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening. Goodbye.